estimation and approximation. So this is rounding off. So by now, teacher will have told you that to the nearest 10 means to 1 decimal place. Nearest 100 is to 2 decimal places. So for this, right, I'm going to use 6.452. I'm going to round off to the nearest 10. So you need to, if you want to round to the nearest 10th, you look at your 100th place to determine whether you round up or remain. So the same thing as whole numbers, you have to ask yourself, this is a 5/100th. So that means it's actually 5 and more. If it's 5 and more, you round up. If it's 4 and below, 4 and less, you remain. So in this case, this is a 5. So that means I can round the 4/10 up to 5. So it will become 6.5. Okay. The next one, rounding off to the nearest 100th, you need to look at the 1000th place. Okay. Then you know that it's a 2. The 1000th place is a 2. 2000th. So that means 2 is actually 4 and less. So which means I am not able to round the 500th up to 600th. So I'm going to remain. So it will be 6.45. That's your answer. Okay. So question number 11. Round 9.437 to the nearest 10th. Same thing. Look at the 100th place. Okay. So it's a 3, right? Okay. So you need to ask yourself, if it's a 300, are you going to round up or remain? 3 is lesser than 4. So that means you cannot round up the 4/10. You remain as 4/10. So it will be 9.4. Okay, so the answer is 9.4. So to the nearest 100th means you need to look at the 1000th place, which is a 7,000th. So 7,000 is actually more than 5, right? This is more than 5, right? 5 and more. So you can actually round up the 300th to 400th. So it will be 9.44. Okay. Next one, 27.018. So you round off to the nearest 10th, you look at the 100th place. This is a 1. So definitely you cannot round up your 10th place. You remain. So it will be 27.0. I want 1 decimal place, which is the nearest 10th. You must label the 10th, although it's a 0. Must label. Okay. Next one, to the nearest 100th, I need to look at my thousands. It's at 8,000. So that means you are able to round the 100th up to 200th. So 27.02. This is your answer. It's similar to whole numbers. You need to look at your numbers clearly and carefully. Think about it. Understand? Don't just do, blindly and all, okay? Don't panic or get too confused when you see a decimal point there. It works almost the same as whole numbers, okay? All right? It's just that it's decimal lah. Huh? Okay, I'm moving on to the next one. Okay. Estimation and approximation to find the smallest and largest possible value. So for this, right, I'm looking at the smallest possible value here. Okay. A ribbon is 2.33 meter when rounded off to 2 decimal places. So 2 decimal places means if I want to round to 2 decimal places, when you do the work just now, right, the rounding off, you need a 3rd decimal place to determine. So I'm going to change this 2.33 to 3 decimal places by adding a 0 at the back. 2.330. Okay. Then I will ask myself, how do I gauge? Remember, when we do whole numbers, we use number line. So for rounding off, it's the same. We use number line. So the rounded off value, right, we write in the middle, 2.330. So it would be 100th, okay, because it's 2 decimal places. So this will be 100th less. So it's 2.320. This will be
I drew my number line.
Good, very good. Then this will be 2.340. So when you do that, right, you need to find the midpoint also. It's the same as your whole numbers. So in the middle of 2.320 and 2.330, right, it's actually 2.325. This will be 2.335. I want the smallest, so I have to move back to the midpoint at the back, which is 2.325. Understand? So if you look at this, okay, I want to round to the smallest possible value. Your answer is actually 2.325 because the length cannot be smaller than 2.325. Because if it's smaller than this value, like 2.324, you will round back down to 2.32. Because if you look carefully, if you want to round to 2 decimal place, the thousandth place must be 5 and more. If the thousandth place is 4 and less, we'll round back down to 2.32. So this is the smallest value that can be accepted. So your answer will be 2.325 meter. Understand? Next one. Okay. This will be 47.6 rounded to the nearest 10. Leave your answer in 2 decimal places. I want the largest possible mass. So I need 2 decimal places means I need the 3rd decimal place, right? Right? So 2 decimal places. Oh, sorry, I need 2 decimal, so I will round off to 47.60. I'm sorry. 2 decimal places. Okay. So what I need to do is 47.60. Okay. So this will be 47.50, 47.70. Middle. Okay. So 47.55 is in the middle. 47.65 is the other side. So I want the largest. So I'm going to move forward here. Because to the nearest 10 what? So nearest 10, I need to make it 2 decimal place. Okay. So that means I need a 100th place here. So that means this is 47.65. But I cannot take 47.65. Because if I told you already, right? If I want to round to the nearest 10th, the 100th place is 5 and more, right? I will round up to 47.7. So I just have to minus a 0.01. Because if you look at this, you need to round minus the 1 from the 100th place. So 0.01 minus 100th. So your answer is 47.64 kg. Okay? Who doesn't understand? Everyone okay? Okay, good. Any issues? No? I'm going to move on. Okay, next one.